Hey everyone, Coty here, and today we're going to be attempting to paint like someone else. Today we're going to be trying to do a Ronald Hunter painting. So Ronald Hunter is another artist, I almost say character, that I found on Instagram. Great selling artist. He's got some really cool abstracts out there, and one of them that I saw I just fell in love with was an abstract landscape. So I'm going to put a picture on the screen so you can kind of get an idea of what we're attempting to go for today. Now I'm sure my colors aren't exactly the same, and I'm sure I won't even get it close to the way that his was. But we're just gonna have fun with it. We're gonna try and see what kind of where it gets us. So anyway, with that out of the way, we're gonna go ahead and get started. We're gonna try to make this, landscape painting here. So what we're going to do is I'm gonna do that, but I'm also gonna get a little bit of wax paper to put our paint on, because I think that's important, right? To have that wax paper there. So. All right, so let's go over the colors and what we'll be using today. So I've got a little brush here. I've got a towel to wipe the water off of, a little bucket of water. And then we've got white, we've got brilliant yellow, we've got turquoise, and then we have light blue. So this stuff will be for the sky. And then this stuff will kind of be for, this is kind of in the middle because there's a little bit of that on the bottom. So we're going to try to make it similar to his, but I'm sure it won't turn out anything like it, and I may not even like it at all. But anyway, so here's what we've got for the bottom. Black, we've got yellow ochre and burnt sienna, and then burnt umber. So that's pretty much it. Let's go ahead and get started. Now, I don't know how he does these paintings, so this is going to be a fun challenge for both of us. But I do have an idea. Like, I've looked at the picture a few times, so I kind of have an idea of what it looks like. Now, you probably can't see it, but I do have a line running down half of the painting here, so to split it in half, because it looked like it was about half and half for like the upper level, like the sky, and then the bottom level, which was, I guess, the ground. So all right, we're going to start with some light blue. I don't know how thin he makes his paintings, like the paint. I don't know how thin he does. I don't know, how much paint he uses. I assume they're kind of thin. I don't think that they're very thick, like brush strokes with the paint. So we're just going to kind of do like a thin layer here. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to paint this whole top the light blue. So we're going to bring this down, we're going to pick up this paint, bring it across. And we're going to bring this down. And we don't need the brush strokes to necessarily be perfect, but I do want it to look fairly straight, I guess. If you saw the painting, maybe I'll put the picture back on screen if I remember. The painting had like these lines of color, so it was almost like it was like an abstract painting, but it was created like with bars of color, I guess. And there's a bristle in there that doesn't want to come out. No. I think I got it. There it is. Okay. Darn bristle. All right. So it looks like I'm going to take a little bit of water here and really kind of pull these paints through. See if I can. I'm going to need a little bit more. I don't want to go too heavy. I do want it to dry before we kind of come back to it. But what we're going to do is we're going to base coat this top layer with the blue, and then we're going to work on the bottom for a little bit to give it some time to dry. Okay, looks like we're almost there. I'm going to pull a little bit more water to see if we can stretch this paint a little bit more, really get a use out of it. That up, fill these little nooks and crannies in the canvas, the weave. Okay. Okay, so it's pretty good. Just kind of fill in some of these little areas here. All right, so what we're gonna do is we're gonna go ahead and clean this paintbrush out. And I know, it's kind of weird to see me use paintbrushes because I rarely do, but this is for you guys. This isn't for me. All right, so we're gonna kind of clean it out, make sure it's fairly clean. And we are going to move on to our next section. So now we're gonna do black. So we're gonna go ahead and put the black on our wax paper here. And it looks like it might be a little cut off, so I'm going to move this up just a little bit so you guys can see it. So we'll put our black onto the wax paper here. And then what we're going to do is we're going to actually, I know I just cleaned this out, but I'm going to go ahead and take some of that water and we're going to mix it into the paint to give it a little movement. Just to thin it out a little bit so that it kind of gives us these translucent type layers. So I'm gonna get some of this excess paint off here. And we're gonna go ahead and cross the bottom. So I know that he had like a kind of a solid color here of the black. But I'm gonna kind of trail it off. So we'll do like a thicker line that just kind of trails off here. Now he did have a few other like little bars. So I was kind of measuring this out, and it looks like the paintbrush is about like 5 paintbrushes, if that makes sense, wide. So like if I rolled it, it's like 5. So what we're gonna do is we're gonna kind of bring this out. And he had some of these like lines, but they didn't go all the way across. So we're just gonna bring maybe that one like there. And then we'll do another bar across the bottom. And I've already forgotten where all of the colors were in this painting. So it is what it is. We're just gonna kind of improvise. So we'll just bring that out and we'll just kind of fade it out, right? And cover the edge a little bit. And we got some rough brush strokes here, that's fine. Cover that. And then we'll kind of go over this maybe a little bit more with a little bit more paint. Just to kind of cover the edge. Okay, cool. So we'll leave that for now. Again, we're going to let that dry. So what we're going to do now is we're going to, let's see if this is pretty dry. It's pretty dry. Now what we're going to do is we're going to do the top layer, and we're going to do the sun. So there's kind of like 3 colors that was up here. It was clouds, and then it was the sun, and then it was like darker areas, I guess, just to show contrast, I guess. But since the turquoise is kind of the heaviest color out of the 3, I'm going to do that last. I could do the clouds, but this isn't fully dry. I could hit it with a heat gun if I really wanted to. And I know that I didn't want to take this out, but it's kind of bothering me. I wonder if I have a tool here. Got a pencil. Okay, we got it out. Perfect. All right, so we could do the white, and let's see, is it dry? It's still kind of wet, so we'll go ahead and do the sun. So the sun, I know that he kind of did like towards the center of the painting. So we're gonna go ahead and we're gonna put a little yellow on there. I'll just take just a little bit of water, just a tiny bit, and we're gonna kind of work this in. And we're gonna kind of get some of the paint off, and we're gonna go just above the black here. So I know that kind of have that. And so we're just going to bring this across. And it looks like we're picking up a little bit of the black. So, see if I can work some of that off. But then we'll just go over it again. If we pick up the black, we'll just keep it running so that it just kind of feeds into that sun. And so we're just going to do these kind of rough brush strokes here. And let's go. Oh, I did pick up some of that black. Okay, so I'm going to wipe some of that off right quick. Just try to get it off and just pull some of it this way. And that actually looks kind of cool. Now we're going to go up a little bit, so I'm going to go up basically one. I'm going to skip a paintbrush width and then go up one more. And we're going to make it a little smaller, almost like it's a kind of like a cone or whatever. Or not a cone, but like a sphere. And so we're going to take that, take a little bit more, just a little tiny bit of paint, water, and we'll mix that in here. And then we'll get some of it off. We'll skip a paintbrush, so we'll just kind of roll it so it'd be like right about here. And so we're gonna start like right there. And I know that part of it kind of like tapered, so why don't we kind of do that same thing? So we'll just kind of have a thick middle, but then have the rest of it kind of taper off, right? And then we'll actually just go a little bit above the line too, just to kind of give it a little character, right? Okay, so I know that it was kind of like that. So we're gonna leave that now. Now we're done with the sun. Now in the bottom part, he did have kind of a darker yellow with like a golden ochre, and I guess it was maybe a reflection or something. I'm not 100% sure what it was supposed to be, but we're gonna go ahead and do that. So we're gonna clean our paintbrush off, and then we're gonna go ahead and throw the yellow ochre on. I think maybe I'll put a little bit, just a tiny bit of this yellow on top of it, and maybe mix it in a little bit, just to kind of tie it in, because I really do feel like that was kind of the intention behind it, was that was the reflection. So we're going to go ahead and mix this in. All right, and then we're going to get some of it off, and we're going to go ahead and start right over here, right over the black, and we're just going to kind of taper it off. We're going to take more and just kind of fill in this gap here. We're actually going to fill it kind of farther down. I'm going to go down this way here. Right? And down that way. Okay. So we're going to take that, we're going to go down, and I think like had it going down kind of a ways. But we'll go down right there. And then we're going to actually take a little bit of this and kind of come down here too and go over this. We're just going to kind of taper it off right there and kind of cross over this area. All right. Now, I think there is overlap with his paintings on some of the colors, and that's perfect for us because we can kind of fill in these like areas where there isn't any background color. Okay, so we've got that, and now I think that what I'll do is I'll go ahead and take a little bit of this yellow, and I'm gonna kind of mix it in with some of this so that it shows both, and we're gonna kind of work it in, right? We're gonna bring some of this and some of that, and bring that in to kind of tie it in. And we'll just kind of go down a little bit. All right, cool. I think that looks kind of cool. I'm gonna mix those in. And we'll do, you know what, we'll do it towards the top of the painting, or the top of this layer, so that you kind of get the feel that it's the reflection, right? We'll kind of fade it in, work it in, and bring it down. All right, yeah, I mean, I get it. I kind of like that. Okay, cool. So we've got our sun, and we've got the reflection. So let's go ahead and clean our paintbrush out again. Probably should have added more water to this, but I don't think I have any more water out here. I think I pretty much used it all. Yeah, that was like, what, 5 drops? Okay, so now what we're gonna do is, since this bottom area is drying, we're gonna kind of move away from that for now. Clean our paintbrush out, and we are going to move into the top area. Now, we'll do our white first, I believe. So the white is supposed to be, you know, the clouds, obviously. And we can kind of do the clouds and then go over it with the dark turquoise, because obviously the turquoise will be darker. Actually, I'm trying to think. You usually want to go light to dark, because the dark will cover up the white. But the clouds are in the front, so do I really want to do that? You know what? We will go ahead and do turquoise first. We'll kind of do the clouds as the last layer. I'm not keen on doing dark then light, but there is patches of turquoise on the bottom, so we can go ahead and hit those up now. There also is this light blue in the bottom too, so you know, he kind of does tie those 2 layers together with that. So let's just go ahead and I meant to get a little more water. It's okay. So let's go ahead and just hit some of the top area up. So we'll start up here. Let's just kind of, you know, bring some of these brush strokes in, and we'll just kind of bring it across here, right? And just kind of fade. And maybe we'll go a little bit lower. And we'll kind of do that. We'll bring it on this side, and you know, we'll kind of come down here and cover it a little bit, but then we'll kind of taper this right here. So it's kind of like I guess maybe a darker cloud. I don't know exactly what these are supposed to be. I just know the color was kind of like this, right? So we'll just kind of taper that, and maybe we'll kind of cover up the yellow just a little bit. It did pull a little bit, so we'll try to get that out of there, and bring some of this up. Okay, cool. And I think maybe I'll do maybe a little bit more here, right? And then we'll kind of go right there. Well, I have a feeling this isn't going to look anything like it, but I guess it's okay, right? So we'll kind of fade that, and maybe fade that into that. And we'll just kind of do these. We'll just kind of pull some of this paint out, do these rough brush strokes here. Let me just have a little area right here. Okay, so I don't think that's anything like the like his painting, but we're gonna leave it. You know, this is our thing. We're just gonna leave it. So we are gonna do a little bit of the turquoise down here, and it's gonna kind of cover it. And we'll just do these, you know, again, rough brush strokes. Just a little tie it in, kind of. We'll do another kind of section down here. gap here. Okay, cool. All right, so now we'll go ahead. That's gonna be drying still. So since this is already kind of wet, what we'll do is we're gonna add a little bit of the light blue to the bottom. Since we just did the bottom and it's okay if they mix a little bit. We're gonna go ahead and add that because I know that there was a little bit of these two colors kind of in the bottom area. And then we're gonna let this dry a little bit, kind of sit for a few minutes, and then we'll do the clouds on the top. So we'll kind of wipe that off and we'll pull out our light blue here and work off some of the paint. Looks like there's a little moisture in there, so just kind of work that in. Okay, so we'll just kind of put this right on top. Right, and I'm gonna mix that in just a little bit, and then a little bit here too. Okay, so that's gonna bring that in a little bit. I don't want to do too much. I am going to have to go over it with the other colors because those were kind of more predominant. But I do like kind of filling in these gaps and then kind of going over them anyway. So that's kind of nice. Looks like the top's still drying a little bit. But we're going to go ahead and start putting clouds kind of in the gaps and then maybe overlap it a little bit if it's dry. So we'll go ahead and clean our brush out one more time. All right, clean it out. And we're going to move on to white. So I am going to go ahead and get a new wax paper. I've still got some wet paint on there. I might use it, maybe, maybe not. It's not a whole lot, so I don't feel too bad if it doesn't get used. But we will get a new sheet here so we can move on to our next set of colors. Got that. All right, so let's go ahead and put our white down. Or not. Anytime now. Cool. All right. Okay. So we've got our white. Let's go ahead and kind of pull this out here. And let's go ahead and make some clouds. So I'm going to start here. We're going to bring this all the way across. Or not all the way, but a good distance. Okay. Use some down here. And we'll just kind of bring that across too. Okay, so that does still have some turquoise that's wet on there, so we'll actually just go a little thicker and kind of pull that through. That's actually kind of cool. I think I'm going to try to pull off a little bit of white in between these two. Wipe that off, pick up some white. And I think I'm gonna do a little bit more there. Maybe like right, it'll just kind of come down here. Okay, so doesn't look anything like his, I'm sure. Like I said, I kind of forgot what it looked like. And it's starting to pull the other colors through. So, you know what? That's okay. I'm going to kind of have it like transition into it. I think that's kind of cool. Okay, so obviously you can kind of tell what we're going for here. I think I probably did a little too much on the clouds. Yeah, I think it's a little too much on the clouds. Oh well, we're gonna move on. We're gonna keep moving along here. Keep chugging along. Okay, sorry, I had to reset the phone. All right, we're gonna keep moving along here, and we are going to move right into the bottom area. So the bottom area has this kind of like brown and red colors. I think it's, you know, supposed to be like the earth, I guess, earthy colors kind of. And I think the red was on top, so I actually need to do the brown first. So we're gonna do this burnt umber here. I'm gonna kind of pull that out, get some thin brush strokes on it, and we're going to really go ahead and put that in there across, and we're going to start filling in these little gaps that we've got. So bring that across. All right. And bring that. And then we're going to fill in this little gap here. Okay, so a little bit of brown. Probably hear that beeping from my daughter's watch because she like left it in here one day and then we could never find it, so it just goes off randomly. Okay, so we've got our brown, and we've got the orange. I'm going to clean off the brush, and then we're going to move right into this burnt sienna here, and we're going to try to stack that on top. And if they mix a little bit, that's okay, because they're kind of meant to be like the earthy layers anyway. So I'm going to clean the brush out a little bit, and we'll just move right into it. And we'll just kind of stack these layers on top of each other. Kind of move this one down a little bit. And kind of like highlight, I guess, the other layer. And I think I'll just do like a small brush stroke here. Maybe a highlight here. Okay, so I mean that's kind of cool. I don't think it's exact. It's not even close to probably Ronald's paintings, right? His type of paintings, which I think is really just a testament to, you know, how easy something looks when you see it, but then when you do it, it's nothing like that. But you know, I think kind of it is kind of cool. So I think that on the top, I'm going to add a little bit more of the light blue and kind of cover up some of that. But ultimately, I do kind of like it. I know that it's not anything like his painting. I get it. And my goal is not to replicate it or anything. I just find it kind of fun to try to paint like someone else and see, you know, maybe kind of the behind the scenes, if you will. So I'm done with the bottom. I'm not going to do anything else to the bottom. I probably could bring like the black line across or something and kind of make it more defined or something like that. Maybe the brown I could kind of stretch. Actually, I will kind of do that real quick. I know I just cleaned the paintbrush, but I'm going to kind of define this a little bit. So let's bring the brown over, and then let's grab it from here, and let's kind of really just kind of do that. And I think that that will kind of help, you know, solidify that. It'll kind of bring it all together, right? Okay, so I don't know why I just ran through the paint some more. All right, let's clean it out. Let's add a little bit more of the light blue for the sky, and then I think we're gonna call it a day, people. All right, so we got our paintbrush cleaned out. We've got it wiped off. So let's go ahead and get the light blue on the wax paper, and let's get it down there. So let's add a little bit of that, and we're just gonna go over it, right? We're just gonna try to float this layer on top. And we're just gonna bring it across. And you know what? I'm just gonna lead it right into the sun and just kind of bring that across like that. And then I'm gonna add a little bit more to the top. So I'm just gonna kind of fade those two layers. So I'll bring that way, and that way. And probably just bring it across here to kind of tie it into the rest of the painting. And bring that one out. Yeah, and that's it. I'm gonna call it a day, guys. So ultimately, I don't think it looked anything like it. So I'm not gonna say that the experiment has failed or anything, but no, I don't think that it looks anything like it. Although I'll have a lot of fun trying to make this painting. I do like it. I don't know if it's my style, and I probably wouldn't do it again. I don't know. But ultimately, yeah, this was an interesting experiment. So here's the final piece. I guess landscape, if you want to call it that. But here is the you know, kind of the details here. I do like it. I do like the style. It is fun to do. I think that the idea of creating an image out of lines is kind of a cool idea. It was a fun thing. And here, what I'm going to do is I'll put his image under mine so we can kind of compare, because I'm sure they look nothing like it. But you know what? Again, we had some fun trying a new technique, and you guys, you know, got to see a different technique that maybe you've never seen before. And if you want to check out Ronald Hunter's artwork, I will link to his stuff in the description area below. I hope you enjoyed this time with me. It was a lot of fun to kind of try this and just do something different. And yeah, I think we didn't get it right, but it was a lot of fun. So that's it. I will see you guys in the next one. Take care. God bless, and see you then. Bye, guys.